The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. It is 2:30. There are two individuals. I see Jacqueline Parker and Joe Pfeiffer. Can you guys both hear me? And I'm going to unmute you real quick. And if you could just let me know that you can hear me. Hello? Okay. If you can hear me, if you could type your questions or just let me know that you can hear. Okay. Jacqueline, can you hear me? Okay, and so I got your response, Jacqueline. Great. And we have one other person with us, Joe Pfeiffer. Can you go ahead and click down here under questions and just let me know that you can hear me? Okay. Jacqueline, I have your responses. I don't have a response from Joe from AMI Kids. Joe, I need you to respond to me if you can hear me. Okay, she might be having some technical difficulties with the audio. Jacqueline, am I coming across clear? I know on Friday there was some issues with the budget webinar that I was not able to be heard clearly. Okay, great. Well, I'm going to go ahead and proceed. I am recording this, so I'm going to go ahead and email this out to the agencies, and hopefully the AMI Kids rep will be able to hear what we're doing and get on to the questions or be able to ask questions at her convenience. I would like to start off this training just by providing a couple of due dates. The 27th of January is the date for preliminary applications. United Way will review any components of B, C, D, or E. They do not have to be complete, or that you do not have to turn all four in for review. However, you do need to provide a preliminary application for review in order to take advantage of the review process with the Community Investment Committee. We will be providing all feedback back to the agencies by the 30th, at which time those agencies that submitted a preliminary draft will be able to call and make an appointment to discuss feedback and comments provided on their application. And the final application is due back to one of the three United Way offices on February 15th by 4 p.m. Whichever office is closest or most convenient for drop-off to your agency. There is an office in Ridgeland at 306 3rd Avenue, the office in Bluffton, and also the office in Beaufort. Any of the locations can be utilized for a drop-off location. With that, I'm going to go ahead and go into the program overview, which is attachment C, and that is where all of the outcomes information will be provided in your application at this time. And first, I'm just going to do a brief overview of a blank application so that you will be able to see the changes, and I'm going to point out some of the changes that were made to the application. And then I will be pulling up a mock draft of attachment C for an emergency services program that was created in order to show exactly where the information needs to be put in the new format. First of all, we'd like to start off just by saying that the entire attachment C has been reformatted. Joe Smith is the staff member responsible for that, and any formatting questions that you might have can be addressed to her, and you can reach her at 837-2000 or jsmith@uwlowcountry.org. Any content questions that you might have in reference to outcomes, you can address to me, and of course you can reach me at 982-3040, extension 24, or cturner@uwlowcountry.org. All right, with that, I'm going to go ahead and start with the review process. The information on this application, on this attachment, is nothing new. There is one section that we will be asking for new information, and that is, that is right here in this, question 3. And we'll go over that and in a minute, but that is the only new information that we are requesting from the agencies. All of the other information is just it's the same information we've always requested, just put in different locations. Statement of need, this is where panel members are asked to look in the application if there is any increase in funding that is requested. Statement of need is where you provide all the qualitative and quantitative data that supports the decision to implement the program. We do like to make sure to have not only national statistics but local statistics as well. The funding that your agency is requesting is funding for Beaufort and Jasper counties, and geographically specific data supports the implementation of your program. So if you could make sure to have some information in there that is specific to Beaufort and Jasper counties, that is one area the panel members really look to gain a sense of any increase or decreases in funding. Are there any questions about the statement of need? Oh, I see that Joe's with us now for AMI Kids. Welcome, Joe. I'm glad you're able to interact with us here. Are there any questions of statement of need at this time? Okay. All righty. I'm going to move right along. There's only 2 of us in here, so I'm just going to kind of keep on keeping on, and you just let me know if you have any questions, and we're going to get through this. I'm sure it's not going to take the full hour and a half, but I'm here for any questions that you might have as we're going through. Okay, so section 2 is the program description. The first section is the description of the program, which is where you would put your inputs and activities. Once again, this is the same language and the same information that we've always asked for. This is a form, so you would click right on here, right in this section right here, and you'll be able to put all of your information. It will expand as you type, and give you plenty of room to put anything in there. Now please know, I know that at the first training there was a question about the page limit. We used to limit attachment C to 3 pages. Now that it is in a table format for most of the outcomes data, there is no limit that we have put on for attachment C. So please note that as well. Description of the program. This is actually how the program starts. Once the client makes contact with your agency or organization, it's the walkthrough of the panel members to let them know exactly from when they step into your door or are referred to your agency through to completion of the services that you provide to that organization. This would be where you put staff participation, any type of handouts, all that kind of, any activity that your organization or agency provides to that client. Who it serves should be specific, exactly the scope of your services and the clients that you serve on a regular basis. Key stakeholders and collaborators. The key stakeholders and collaborators are any agencies or organizations that you work with to be able to provide the services to your clients and who have a stake in the success of the clients as well. This is where agencies or, panel members look to see how they are being able to leverage dollars and how other agencies and organizations that you're working with to ensure that the goals of your programs are being met. If you remember, this key stakeholder and collaborators question was actually on attachment B, which was the overall organizational information. We determined that once we moved to program funding, most of the key stakeholders and collaborators are program specific as opposed to agency specific. So this question was moved to the program overview section. Underneath the key stakeholders, you have your program goals. You will notice that they are outlined goal 1, 2, 3, and 4. Your agency might not have 4 goals per program, and that's okay. Please fill out the goals that your program has in this section, and maximum of 4. If for some reason your program might have more than 4, please contact us and we will see about altering the format so that you can add any goals. We were unaware of any programs that we currently fund that had more than 4. So if you do, please contact us. We would be more than happy to make sure that you're taken care of on that. Okay. 3A and B, this community impact question is new, as I stated earlier. The community impact question is geared in order for us as United Way to gauge where our agencies are in reference to these United Way worldwide goals. Education is going to be one of United Way's goals going on into 2012, and this is just simply to determine what agencies and organizations we currently fund do have impact in these areas. So a question was asked last week at the training of how direct of an impact you need. Since we are simply trying to gauge the level of involvement of our agencies, if you think you have a direct or indirect impact in reference to either one of these goals, please go ahead and provide the information. Now, it says specifically if you selected education from the drop-down list on the cover page, please fill this out. If you did not, you can leave this section blank. Well, we've got one more. Susan Cato. Welcome, Susan. So if you did select the education from the drop-down, go ahead and fill this out. If you don't believe that you are addressing these needs, then please leave that section blank. Okay. The next thing that we're going to discuss is the program efficiency section. This is where the outputs will be put into the application. And if you notice, we have simplified this significantly. This was one of the areas that we received feedback from the Agency Partnership Committee, was that there was a lot of confusion over the fixed costs and variable costs and what should they put in there and what they shouldn't put in there. So we simplified this and put it into a table. We are simply asking for years 2011, 12, and 13. We want the number of units that your agency provided right here. Sorry, right here. And please be descriptive in this and let us know exactly what that unit is, whether it is a family, whether it is a meal served, whether it is a counseling session, an hour of counseling. Just be descriptive so the panel members know exactly what that unit of measurement entails. The program costs right here is where we're asking for that. You're going to find that on your attachment E, which is your program budget, under expenses on line number 29. And that will be put into there. Your cost per unit, which is your overall efficiency cost, would be right here. And that's going to be just the number of units divided by the program cost. Okay, are there any questions about the program efficiency? I'm sure that you can see that it has been simplified, and some agencies were a little leery that it was so cut and dry. So I want to make sure that there were no questions about that program efficiency. Okay. And all of these sections are going to be gone over in full with the mock. So I'm just kind of doing a brief overview of this blank application, and then we'll go to more specific information in the attachment C with the case study on it. Question number 5 addresses the number of people impacted by the program, and this is where we are asking to please indicate the number of people being directly and indirectly impacted by the program for the years indicated. Once again, the feedback that we received from the agencies was that several of them had some great programs, but there was no portion in the current application that we had that allowed them to really inform the panel members as to the indirect impact their program was producing. One of the items was, say for instance, the Habitat for Humanity, who might build 6 houses, but if there's 5 individuals within each house, the persons directly impacted would be the 6. For the 6 heads of household, the people indirectly impacted would be say if there's 4 people per household, 6 times 4. And then total number of people impacted would be the adding these 2 columns together. Okay. Are there any questions about that section? Okay, I see a question from Susan. What if we offer multiple programs in areas of funding? Parenting, participants, school students, cribs for kids, etc. Are they the same program, Susan? Susan, are you talking, the question that you asked about the cribs and the school students and the parenting participants, are you referring that to your people impacted or the program efficiency? Okay, I'm going to move on. I don't see oh, okay, hold up. We're at a lag time, obviously. Okay, the question is, the area of funding is outreach programming, outputs, program efficiency. I will, Susan, let me think about that, and I will contact you directly so that we can better get together on how we're going to have you fill that out. I want to keep this going for the others in the room, but I will contact you directly, and we will discuss that. Okay. Program outcomes, this is the section where all of the outcomes will be put, and if you notice that it is in table format, and we provide 3 spaces per year for this information. Once again, we reviewed applications and saw that the bulk of the programs were reporting on 1 to 2 outcomes. If you have more than 3 outcomes that you are providing, then per year, then please let us know, and we'll see what we can do about making or altering the form. So you have your goal number 1 here. You're going to describe your indicators, and if you look at the bottom, we did put a box right down here that provides a brief definition of what each one of these areas are going to be. Up here. Describe the indicators. The indicators would be exactly what information will indicate how well the program is doing in regards to the outcome. And it helps you to know whether an outcome has been achieved, whether participants will demonstrate at least a 4-point improvement in their score. That's exactly what you're looking at to determine whether your outcome has been achieved or not. The data measurement tool is how you're going to collect that data, whether it be records, program participants, trained observers, tests, whatever measurement tool your agency has determined would be the best measurement to gauge whether the outcomes have been successful or not. And of course the outcomes is that overall so what question. That is the benefit that your client gains from the program. That's the so what. That is the so you delivered 200 meals to the elderly. What did that do? How did that change their life? That would be it provides social interaction on a daily basis. That senior now has somebody stopping in daily to do emergency checks to make sure they are healthy. And the overall benefit to the community would be that community impact. We do ask for 2011 actual, 2012, and 2013 anticipated outcomes, and we'll once we get to the mock case study, I'll be showing how those can be reported. There is a table for each goal of your program. There are 4 tables for goals 1 through 4. We do ask that you report them in the table for the goal that you've reported on page 1 of this document. Okay, so that is just a very brief overall explanation of the program overview attachment C, which can be submitted for review by the Community Investment Committee. Once again, January 27th is the due date for that. And I'm going to pull up the case study now and go over that in depth. So, okay. Okay. So, first we have the statement of need. Provide the qualitative data and quantitative data that supports the decision to implement the program. My particular program, this is an Agency X, and this is an emergency assistance program. This emergency assistance program is asking United Way for an increase in funding, and I am providing that increase. I provided the documentation in my statement of need for why that is needed. For this particular agency, there's been a prolonged downturn in the economy mixed with Beaufort County's high unemployment rate of 9.4. Once again, it's drawing all of the statistics back down to our area of funding, which is Beaufort and Jasper County. And these combinations has continued to drive clients to seek emergency assistance from Agency X. They do say that last year we were able to serve 300 family units, representing a 30.6% increase in the number of families served. However, due to funding constraints, we were unable to provide assistance to 53 families who would have been eligible to receive assistance based on our criteria. Once again, in the training of the panel members, this is where they are told if there's an increase in funding, decrease in funding, this is where they should be looking on the application to validate or to back up the case for increased funding. So please make sure that you put something in here if you will be asking United Way for an increase in funding. Okay, are there any questions about the statement of need? Okay. Don't see any questions. We'll keep an eye on that. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the program. Oh, hold on. Question just came through. No, Jacqueline. This statement of need is actually a requirement. You need to provide the qualitative and quantitative data that supports the decision to implement the program overall. So you don't leave it blank if you're not asking for an increase. You have to fill it out. It is providing the panel members with that information of why your program exists. However, if you are asking for an increase in funding, this is the section that you would put the rationale for the increase in funding. But it's not optional. Okay, we're going to move on to the program description. This is where, once again, we put from the time my client enters the emergency assistance program through to the time where a determination is made for funding. This is where you would put that information. For my specific agency, the Emergency Services Program provides the immediate financial assistance for rent or utilities. That is specifically what they focus on. The client contacts our office either by phone or walk-in. An initial intake is conducted with the agency caseworker immediately. The caseworker enters the client information into Charity Tracker, which is a web-based data program, which allows the caseworker to verify information and review the client's history of previously provided assistance in order to determine if the client is eligible for our services. Now, and here's where it is. If the client is not eligible, they are informed immediately and are provided with information and referral to other social service agencies that might be able to assist them. So if they're not eligible, then that client would then be directed to other agencies and organizations and would leave our program. If the client is eligible for services, the caseworker then conducts a more in-depth intake where the need is validated and past payment history is obtained. Complete review of the household budget is conducted. An inventory of personal assets, which is both financial as well as social, to determine the true need of the client, and self-sustainability of the client is proven. Now, if the caseworker determines all eligibility criteria have been met, the need validated and sustainability verified, the caseworker fills out an emergency fund request and submits it to the executive director. The ED then denies or approves the funding request and the level of funding, if approved, and the funding request is provided to the bookkeeper to process the check. Checks are only made out to the service provider and are mailed. Checks are never provided to the client. So this is a full synopsis of from when the client opens our doors or makes original contact with the agency, all the way through to where the client's utilities or rental assistance is provided. Is there any questions about that section? Okay. Under who it serves, this program serves any family unit with a verified need, and this section is very specific under who it serves. This program serves any family unit with a verified need of rental or utility assistance who reside in Beaufort or Jasper County, who have not already received financial assistance from this agency in the past 12 months, and who can provide proof of sustainability. That is who this program serves. The key stakeholders and collaborators, there is something that I do want to point out here that was brought up at the training on Friday. I did not go into details about the churches and emergency assistance agencies. Please know that you should go into detail on this. If you have churches and emergency service providers, I didn't want to call anybody out specifically other than the basic Alliance for Human Services and the CSO. So if you do have other churches and emergency service providers, please list them. This is where the panel members do look to make sure that you are collaborating, to make sure that there's not a duplication of services that are happening, and to make sure that you're linked in with other programs and organizations that could help with the program outcomes and goals. So please list those, and this is also where they go to when they have suggestions for the agency. They look to this section to determine if you've already made contact with those organizations and agencies that could be beneficial to your program. Okay, so now we're going to get to the program goals, and this is once again there are spots for four program goals. For this particular program, the first goal is that 100% of clients will maintain or increase their awareness of community resources. Second goal is that 80% of clients feel empowered to address their own problem, which will affect a change in their circumstance. And goal number 3 is that 80% of clients will reduce the number of times they request assistance from the social service network. Your goals should be quantifiable. In order to determine whether your goals are being met, you need to have a quantified number in there. So they should be quantified and able to determine whether they've been met or not. Okay, so we ask for the goals, and then we go right into the community impact of your program. For this particular agency, by providing the rental assistance. Now please know that community impact is that section where that is the relevance or the value added benefit that the program has to the community, not necessarily, these aren't the outcomes that you're reporting. Outcomes are very specific and need to be able to be proved through your data measurement tools. These are kind of those far-reaching community benefits, such as if we go back to the food distribution program, the outcome would be that a senior is able to remain in their household, has social interaction on a daily basis, has somebody doing emergency checks. Those are outcomes of the program. The far-reaching or community impact that program has would be, one might be that senior is able to remain in their home, is not having to go into an assisted living facility, and is saving taxpayers of Beaufort and Jasper County X amount of dollars per year. So that would be a community impact. Now this particular program, the rental assistance, I'm saying that the agency X prevents eviction, which lowers the number of homeless individuals in Beaufort and Jasper counties. This assistance provides stability to the family unit, allowing parents to retain employment and allowing children to concentrate on succeeding in school. Stress is also alleviated, reducing the potential for child abuse and potential disciplinary problems in the school system. For the utility assistance, it pretty much mirrors what the rental assistance is. It does prevent the eviction from government housing because clients have to maintain utilities and government housing programs. Provides the parent with the ability to prepare food for their children and the ability for the child to complete their homework in order to succeed in school. Additionally, a disproportionate amount of those who are indirectly affected by this assistance are the very young and the very old, both of which are susceptible to health conditions related to the inability to moderate extreme temperatures. So those are the far-reaching community impacts, that this program of emergency services provides to the community of Beaufort and Jasper counties. Are there any questions about community impact? Okay. I don't see any. We'll keep looking at the questions section. We're going to go ahead and move on. Okay. You will notice that in this particular example, this has been left blank. The section that I filled out on the cover page would have been the income/poverty priority area. So I did not fill this section out in my case study. Program efficiency. For me, my number of units that I reported are the records of assistance provided. not necessarily families, not necessarily people. For me, I thought that for the emergency service provider, it would be the 300 records of assistance. This information, once again, was simplified and can be found, the information can be found right on your attachment E, which is your expenses, line 29. For me, there were 300 records of assistance provided at a cost of $86,700, which made my program efficiency or my cost per unit $289. In 2012, I'm projecting, or budgeting rather, for 340 cases or records of assistance to be provided with an additional cost. It's going to cost me $98,200 to provide the additional assistance, and it's still costing me $289 per unit. I'm not projecting to increase the amount of spending, just the amount of records. I'm sorry, I'm not projecting to increase the amount per record, just the amount of records. And then in 2013, I showed 340 records of assistance provided, because I do not anticipate that there would be a reduction in the amount of clients that are coming needing this direct assistance. The program cost has gone up to $119,000. And I am projecting that I'm going to be providing each record of assistance with additional costs. So if I give each client $200 for utilities, I am projecting that there's going to be an increase in that overall cost per unit that I will be providing and to my clients in direct assistance. Once again, this has been simplified, and if there is some question about that, please call us and let us know if you have anticipate a problem with reporting your program efficiency. Okay. And this was a direct result of the agency partnership feedback that we received. So we'd be interested to get any other feedback from any of the other agencies that might see problems with this so that we can address that. Okay. Number 5, this is the number of people impacted by my program. Once again, you will see that I have directly impacted and indirectly impacted. For me, I chose for this program to persons directly impacted would be the adult clients that come to the office for the direct assistance. They are the heads of the household or the ones that are coming in need of the utility or rental payment. Those that are indirectly impacted by this program are all of the children and or seniors that are also living in the household, which I do track through Charity Tracker. I do ask who all is living in the household, so I'm able to report the number of people indirectly impacted through this emergency services program. And then the total is simply adding the directly impacted and indirectly impacted individuals. Okay. Okay, so now we're getting to the outcomes, the reported outcomes of the program. And for this program, goal number 1, if we remember, was that 100% of the clients will maintain or increase their awareness of community resources. So that's the goal of the program. In order for me to determine if my outcomes are meeting my goals, I am going to look at the client's level of awareness of current community resources. And when I'm looking at this right here, I'm going to be able to, my measurement tool is going to be the intake form or the intake that the social worker does, and that follow-up client survey that is provided at the end of the intake process. Those are my data measurement tools. My outcome for this goal was that 82% of my clients were able to identify specific resources that would help to resolve their current circumstances. That's the outcome of my program, which matches up with the 100% of clients will maintain or increase their awareness of community resources, which is the overall goal. Now you'll see that I am not at 100%, that I am at 82%, and that's okay. It's okay that if your outcomes are outcomes, they don't have to reach your goal. It's a progression, and the panel members should be able to look at the outcomes to determine how you are looking to improve your program. And the next example will show you how, after reviewing the outcomes, it was determined that we weren't reaching our goals and that a change in the program had occurred. Okay, so 2012 budgeted. This is what we are projecting with our current budget to be able to service. Once again, you're going to see consistency under the describe the indicators and the data measurement tools. In order to see if you are being able to achieve your goals, you should be focusing on consistency on these areas. It's in all 3 years, it's client's level of awareness that I'm looking at of current community resources. In all 3 years, we are using the intake and follow-up client survey. In 2012, budgeted, we are projecting to see an 84% increase, or I'm sorry, an 84% will be able to identify specific resources that help to resolve their current circumstances. So there's been an improvement of 2% of our clients from actual to budgeted. In 2013, what we anticipate, once again, we're looking at the client's level of awareness, intake and follow-up survey. We anticipate that 86% of our clients at this point will be able to identify specific resources that would help to resolve their current circumstances. So you can see from year to year there's a progression, and we're hoping to get better and better at being able to have our clients identify the specific resources that can help them out. Goal number 2, which for our circumstance, or for our case study, is 80% of clients will feel empowered to address their own problem, which will affect a change in their circumstance. That is goal number 2. And I am going to determine whether that goal is being achieved by looking at the clients, by looking at the answers that the clients provide, and clients will rate a 3 or better on the empowerment questions on the exit interview. That's going to indicate whether my outcomes are being obtained and my goals are being achieved. The data measurement tool that I'm going to be using is a 4-question exit interview survey that is asked by the agency caseworker upon completion of the intake process. That is where we're going to get the information. And the outcome here is that 60% of clients reported they felt either somewhat or very empowered that they could address their current situation after speaking to the intake coordinator. Now this is the example that I referred to a couple of minutes ago, whereas outcomes should in fact inform decisions that are made about your program. This particular outcome, we are at 60% and our goal is 80%. We reevaluated this, and after these outcomes were evaluated, Agency X determined the uncertainty clients were feeling was due to the lack of employment options, and the intake coordinator now provides each client with weekly classified ads, which account for the 10% projected increase into 2012. So this is where I informed the panel members, yes, I know that I am falling below what my goal of the program is. We have reevaluated that, and this is what we're going to do to try to be able to reach our goals. So in 2012 for the budgeted, once again, it's still the same. We're still looking at the same indicator for consistency. We're still looking at the same data measurement tool for consistency purposes. Now we are at 70% is what we have budgeted. 70% of clients will report they feel either somewhat or very empowered that they can improve their current situation after speaking with the intake coordinator. So this is the 10% increase that we talked about up here in the 2011 actual. The wording of these actual, budgeted, and anticipated, these 60% of clients reported, 70% of clients will report, and 73% of clients will report. So 2011 is actual once again, 2012 is what you have budgeted, and 2013 is what you anticipate being able to achieve with the funding that you're currently requesting. With this particular situation, we see another progression. Now we know that it's not going to jump up 10% like we did from 2011 to 2012. On this, we are thinking that there's going to be about a 3% increase. So 73% of the clients will report they feel either somewhat or very empowered that they can improve their current situation after speaking with the intake coordinator. Okay. Goal number 3 for this mock program was that 80% of clients will reduce the number of times they request assistance from the social service network. For this particular goal, we are going to look at the requests for additional assistance by the clients. That is what's going to indicate to us whether we are achieving our goal or not. We are going to do that by looking into Charity Tracker, which is a web-based program that allows us to track all of our clients. And we're also going to be looking at internal agency records against the Charity Tracker information. Now, I do want to point out that right here, this records and this records, I know that I said that these should be consistent, and that is still the case. This right here should have Charity Tracker and agency records, and this should also be Charity Tracker and agency records. That is a mistake that I want to make sure to point out. But with this particular program, 2011 actual, after tracking clients, it was determined that 49% of the clients showed a change in circumstance that resulted in a reduction of requests for additional assistance. Once again, if you go back to the goals, we were looking at a goal of the program of 80%. So we're falling well below our program goal, and that's okay. It's showing a progression, and I'm reporting the outcomes as they're evaluated. In 2012, budgeted, realistically, we hope to see an increase to 55% of clients able to show a change of circumstance that results in a reduction of requests for additional assistance. Now, this is not saying that they're not going to have to call an emergency service provider for assistance, but in 2010, if they had to call 3 of them, then we are looking for a reduction in the amount of requests for additional assistance. And then in 2013, our anticipated was that we anticipate a further increase to 60% of clients able to show a change of circumstance that results in a reduction of the requests for additional assistance. And those are the outcomes. Now, you will notice that in my example, there was only one outcome provided per goal per year. Your program very well might have several outcomes that you are reporting. For case study purposes, this one only had one, but you have the ability to put in up to 3, and if you have more than that, once again, please let us know. Okay. My program did not have 4 goals, so this box is just left blank, and please just leave it blank if you do not have 4 goals. And other than that, that is this mock case study of an emergency assistance program. I'd like to take any questions that anybody has, any specific agency questions that I can answer at this time. Susan, I will be reviewing your question and contacting you to get with you about that efficiency question. But if there's any other specific questions that I can answer at this time, I would love to provide the opportunity And I'm going to take a brief couple minutes of a break, and so that you guys can type up any specific questions you might have, and then we will address them then. So I'll be back in about 2 minutes. Okay, I have been keeping an eye on the questions, and nobody has any specific questions at this moment. Please know that we are always a phone call away or an email away, and any questions that might arise while you are filling out your application, please feel free to email. Once again, content of outcomes should be emailed to me, cturner@uwlowcountry.org. And any questions about formatting and or changes to the application should be emailed to Joe Smith at jsmith@uwlowcountry.org, or you can call her at 837-2000. With that, I am going to go ahead and close out this training, and like I said, please feel free to give us a call if you have any questions that arise while you're filling out the application. Due date for preliminaries is January 27th, and due date for final applications is February 15th. All right. Thank you so much for participating in this Outcomes webinar training, and we look forward to seeing your applications. Thanks a lot. Have a good afternoon.